Let's figure out for you what the line is, because I'm sure that diversity, equity, inclusion, these are not bad words for you. So what is the line to where you believe those honorable concepts become something different?
Well, today we're going to find the answer to a very interesting question. You can take Chris Cuomo out of CNN, but can you take the CNN out of Chris Cuomo? We're about to find out, because today he is interviewing Matt Walsh, the writer and producer and director, I think, of the movie released by the Daily Wire entitled Am I a Racist? And I did a few videos about this a couple months ago, but I came across this interview with Chris Cuomo, who, as you might know, used to be on CNN, where he was just one of the usual woke talking heads that CNN loves to, parade about on their liberal show, liberal so-called news network. So I thought it'd be interesting to see what he has to say to Matt Walsh, because normally I would think they would be on the other side of these important social and cultural issues. Let's take a look at the clip.
All right. Walsh then decides to go undercover. Joins us now. Thank you for taking the opportunity.
Thanks for having me. Appreciate it.
Matt, what do you hope to achieve with this film?
Well, this is our exploration of the DEI so-called anti-racist hustle, the scam. And so we want to expose these con artists for what they are, the people that are pushing this stuff. But we want to do it, comedically, with humor. We want to do it in an entertaining way, which is why as you covered, I go on my own journey of racial awakening, and I listen to these people. I listen to what they say. I try to put their teachings into practice in the film. I let them guide me down the rabbit hole so that the viewer can see by the end of the film where it leads. And it leads to some pretty wild and demented places, frankly. I don't want to give any spoilers away, but we take the path where they lead us.
So let's figure out for you what the line is, because I'm sure that diversity, equity, inclusion, these are not bad words for you. So what is the line to where you believe those honorable concepts become something different?
Honorable concepts? Well, of course, diversity, equity, inclusion aren't bad words. They're just words, Chris Cuomo. Obviously, Matt Walsh is using them in the context of DEI, the sort of current day version of affirmative action or positive discrimination, or whatever you want to call it, non-merit based advancement in hiring, and downright discrimination, downright racism, if you will, but downright anti one group in order to promote other groups.
When it's all based in left-wing racial ideology, which these days, I mean, sure, there's a way that you could use the word diversity that doesn't have to be a bad thing. Inclusion doesn't necessarily, there are ways you can include people that's obviously not bad. But when these terms are used and when it's put together, DEI, it always means left-wing racial ideology. What is left-wing racial ideology? Well, to sum it up in the most simple way possible, it's the idea that white people are inherently racist, inherently bad, and that nobody who is not white can be racist, and that white people are the author of all the oppression and suffering in the world. That's the belief, and every single one of these DEI people, that is absolutely what they believe. I'm not simplifying it at all. That is what they believe, and if it's grounded in that, then it's evil, it's wrong.
What conclusion do you draw, and maybe you just told us there in the end of that last sentence, but, build it out, expound a little for us. What is your conclusion about why the people that you encountered do what you call evil?
Because there's a lot of money in it, and we explore that in the film. In fact, we pay these race hustlers, Robin DiAngelo and others, to be in the film. We put their price tag on the screen because it's part of it's part of the scam. So there's money in it. There's also influence. There's power. There's political advantages. Listen, when people are very obsessively focused on race and they're resentful and angry and they feel guilt and suspicion and all that stuff based on race, they're much easier to manipulate. And that's why they do it. That's why these race hustlers do it in the DEI world. That's why Democrat politicians do it. We have the DEI presidential candidate right now in Kamala Harris, and this is what she stands for. She is the kind of mascot for all this stuff.
You know, I'm starting to think that why don't we just embrace this, you know, if they're going to call everybody racist and fascist and Nazis and all that stuff, just embrace it. Say, yeah, I'm a racist, I'm a fascist, I'm a Nazi. Okay, now what? You're going to lock me up? You're going to put me in a camp? You know, just embrace it. It's just like any other insult or slur. You know, just roll with the punches instead of trying to say, no, I'm not. You know, Democrats are the real racists. Screw that. Just say, yeah, whatever. Okay. Now, can we talk about something real?
Well, is she the mascot because she's a black woman? Or do you believe that her politics are using these concepts unfairly? When you say mascot, what do you mean?
Well, it's the policies, but the real reason is that she was put in her position because she's a black woman, and that's not me saying that. I mean, that's Joe Biden said that. Joe Biden said that he was going to, when he was looking for a vice president candidate, he was going to look for a black woman, and he ruled out all other demographics ahead of time and only focused on this demographic. That's DEI. That's what DEI is. That's judging people based on the color of their skin, excluding people.
I believe he only said woman, and he wound up picking a black woman. But
now, I checked up on this, and he did say he definitely said he was going to pick a woman. And then at some point he had narrowed it down to a short list of 4 black women. So yes, I think DEI hire is perfectly valid in this case. And I believe also the Supreme Court nominee who was, who was appointed, what was her name? Ketanji something, was also specifically picked because she was a black woman. That was specifically said.
But he did say he was going to pick a woman, and you can argue that did close off any choice of having a man there, unless it was a man that decided to identify as a woman. But you don't...
That would have been hilarious. They should have... The next president, that's what Trump should have done. Pick up a white man as his vice presidential running mate and say, well, what do you mean? This is a transgender, transracial woman. This person identifies as a black woman. Now that would be very based.
Believe that the policy should matter more than the personage of the candidate, right? It's not what she is that is your issue, it's how she is.
Right, that's what we're saying. Those of us who are anti-DEI, our whole point is that what matters is the policies, what matters is the merit of the person. It's when you're in the DEI world, that's where you're dividing people based on race. Okay, you get this because this is your race, you're included because it's your race. No, we don't want you because you're the wrong race. That's the DEI. That's exactly what this film, that's the attitude this film is meant to expose.
Hey, thanks for...
Well... Isn't that interesting? So, Chris Cuomo actually kind of pleasantly surprised me, at least in this snippet of the interview. He seemed pretty straightforward. He wasn't having a CNN style, he wasn't attacking Matt Walsh or anything. He was asking reasonable questions. So maybe taking Chris Cuomo out of CNN did take the CNN out of Chris Cuomo. And to be fair, I saw him in a completely different context. I saw him on a comedian's podcast a couple months ago, and where he was just being Chris Cuomo, and the comedian guy was being mildly funny, and Chris Cuomo actually came across very well. Just an ordinary, likable guy, very good sense of humor. So, maybe being away from the whole CNN Borg mind has let the real Chris Cuomo come out. I mean, if you work for CNN, you gotta put on your CNN face and do the CNN thing. Anyway, I'm always interested to see different takes and different approaches towards Matt Walsh's movie. I'm always interested to hear him talk about it. I still haven't seen it. If any of you have seen it, please let me know in the comments. But Let me know what you thought about it, because it was doing very well when it first came out. As far as I know, it hasn't been released in Europe, but I haven't been to the cinema in a very long time, so I haven't been looking. But I definitely want to see it. I would love to hear your views on it and what you think about this interview with Chris Cuomo. In the meantime, all those of you who have been watching this channel and not subscribing, hit that subscribe button and the like button, please, and leave a comment. It all really helps me. It all helps the algorithm know that you like this kind of stuff and pushes it out to more people, which helps me in turn grow the channel and keep making content for you.